Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining to the Rink podcast for another episode 28, as I said. Puff, who's 28? Any good players in the top of mind, number 28?
28. I think in my head, I'm thinking Steve Thomas, but I might be right. Duchesne, the defenseman Duchesne, Steve Duchesne, he was 28.
He's 28? Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you every time now. How are you doing? You're down south, it looks like. Well, I know you are.
We are in St. Lucia, the beautiful island of St. Lucia. There is 0 hockey rinks. I actually looked that up today to see if there was anywhere. Barrett wants to skate bad. Yeah. Austin's fine, just chilling at the beach.
Did you bring skates with you?
No, we would have. We did not think there'd be skates down there. But there's no such thing as hockey down here. It is a soccer nation. They like their soccer. Yeah. And
I was out with a guy.
No hockey.
I was out with a guy on Monday night from Barbados, and I asked him the same question. I said, "Is there any hockey rink?" He didn't. He said that he didn't believe there was any hockey rinks in Barbados either. Oh. So, well, maybe an opportunity to bring some ice rinks down to the Caribbean. So, how was your week? I mean, I know you're down south, but since we last talked, you had a couple games. You had the NHL All-Star weekend. You were All-Star. At, I think. Yeah, how was that?
It was excellent. We went. We were lucky enough to go on the Thursday night to. We went down to the activation area where it was like all the companies that sponsor the event, and we were able to get in a bit to watch to get autographs. Nice. And the boys got a bunch of autographs, and then we went to the draft, which is pretty cool. Although as Bublé and Bieber let on a little bit of extracurriculars for the
little fun was
celebrity
going on there.
Hosts, so they weren't.
I saw that on the news.
Point.
Were they both? Because I only saw Bublé had some fun.
Well, Bublé definitely said he was. Bieber just appeared to be, because he basically sat down the whole time. Like he either looked like he was having the worst time or he thought he was seeing things. But it was fun. It was good. It was a good event. NHL players aren't the best at that kind of thing. They're not as engaging usually publicly. Right. Even it was funny. One of the captains was Nate McKinnon, and he's like, "I don't like public speaking."
Right. That was his comment.
That's sort of what you're here to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. So but it was fun, and then we went to the game on Saturday, and nice. I would have loved to have seen a little less passing. They were overpassing constantly, but it was entertaining. The best players in the world were putting on a show, and I picked Austin Matthews to get the MVP, and he did. So that was.
And can you bet on that game?
10-1.
Can you bet?
Oh, I bet a lot on.
And how did you do?
I was losing every bet, and then I hit the big one at the end to win for the day.
Clive, he went down to that fanfare on Sunday, and he got a lot of autographs with Martha, but they were all mascots. We have a book of mascot autographs is what we have.
Oh.
Yes. What mascot do you think wouldn't give him an autograph? There's a trivia for you.
It better not have been Carlton.
It was Gritty.
Oh, Gritty wouldn't, eh?
No autographs from Gritty. Wouldn't do it. So now
wouldn't do it for the kids.
Wouldn't do it. I don't know if it was just my kid or just whatever, but I tried to bet.
I probably cranked him in the groin or something.
I tried to bet on the All-Star game, but I couldn't. You know why? I was in Rochester. I didn't realize you can't. So you can't vote in the U.S. Is that a deal?
Yeah, you can't bet. You can only bet in Canada.
I did not know that.
Particular.
Yeah. I tried to bet, and it wouldn't let me. It said my region wouldn't do it. But anyway, we watched a little bit when we were down in Rochester for a tournament in which the Ted Reeve Thunder won, just so you know. I don't know if you looked it up.
Congratulations, I did not.
And in fact, if you include the games we won in that tournament, I think we're on a 10-game winning streak, the Ted Reeve Thunder.
Wow.
Yes.
I did not know that, but I do have something in the rankings that would align with what you're saying.
Yeah. So good. Well, I'm looking forward to it. We'll get to that really quickly here, but a couple things to talk about Rochester. We got lots of cologne, as the last episode suggested. We went to
That's all anyone cared about.
That's all they cared about. We went to 3 different Sephoras to find the best deals. And I'm not sure we got one. Yeah. But it was great. It was really, really good. But we had an incident, actually, Puff. We had a parent kicked out, not our team, the other team, the referee stopped the game and kicked a parent out. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we were in the game and the parent was yelling and he got a warning. And then, he yelled again. This was like all in the first period right away. Ref gives him a warning again. Or no, second time he asked him to leave. He's like, you got to go. You got to get out. And we were on this like overlooking balcony type thing. And so the parent, I think, of the other team thought he was being crafty because he just kind of walked off the balcony and then kind of slithered his way down to the boards and down to the glass.
Yeah.
And was kind of like, put his hood up and just being a little, trying to be an El Cognito down there and not be recognized. But one of our parents, went and talked to him. I saw this and then he left. And I was curious on what happened. And then afterwards, I found out that the parent, which I did not know this rule, explained to him, if you don't go, your team can get a penalty.
Oh.
Yeah. And so we had to approach him nicely and, just cautiously because he was all hot. But he was like, hey, just so you know, if you don't leave and the ref sees you, he can call a penalty on your team and give you until you leave again and keep doing that. And so there was an indoor part, so I think the parent left. But, yeah, it was quite an exciting game, that one, where, when there's a little bit of drama, it's always just a little bit fun to be around, isn't it?
I had a little bit of drama on my last game behind the bench on Friday night at Scotiabank Pond. We were playing Leaside, my younger guys, the U12 team. Yeah. And, we jumped out to a quick 4-2 lead, which is pretty exciting for our team. Yeah. And they came storming back, and they were up 5-4. Oh. And they were doing no offense, no hard feelings on them, but they were heading into our crease and they were being physical with our goalie and our defense, which is, it's on the refs to call it. The problem was the refs weren't calling it.
Right.
And so as the goals were happening, I was getting hotter and hotter, and I was telling our kids, you have to move these kids out. And they were trying to, but they were being a little bit physically overmatched. And so I'm saying to the ref, and I started to yell at him, is like, you got to get them out of the crease. And he was yelling back at me that our players were putting them in the crease, which was not the case. And so I got to the point where I really just wanted a penalty because I wanted to have I was just ready to go. And cooler heads prevailed, but I was pretty hot about it. I could be here on the video.
Did he have a green armband on, Puff?
He did not. If he had the green armband, I would have backed off. He was a veteran official. He should have known better.
And so did you win the game at the end of the day, or
we lost? We lost 9-5.
Oh, yeah.
But it was not the referee's fault. But he did not do us any favors with the crease management.
Well, yeah. While you were doing that, I was deep into Rochester barbecue, I think, on Friday. We went, so a couple things I want to come back to Rochester on. Best barbecue I've ever had, Dinosaur Barbecue. If you're ever in Rochester, highly recommended. Great price, better food.
Really? The best barbecue?
One of the best barbecues I've ever had, easily.
Wow.
Easily. I raved about it all weekend. We also went to an RIT hockey game, Rochester
Institute of Technology.
Yeah. They were playing Niagara, the Purple Eagles, who I saw last year against Mercyhurst. So that was cool. It was fun to go to the university game. The kids had a lot of fun there. And then, great group of parents. They threw us this, if you can believe it, this tournament threw us a keg party at the hotel. There was a free keg party for all the hockey parents, put on by the tournament or the hotel. Yeah. So we all just had keg beer and did karaoke in this huge ballroom. It was hilarious.
The Americans do it right.
They do.
They may have some of their faults, but they know how to host youth sports.
But it was anyway, it was a fun tournament. We hadn't been away in a long time, so it was a fun tournament, and I'm glad we went and we won. And so now we're back, and we're right back at. We had a game last night against Avenue Road Ducks at Golden Park, and we won that one too. So, so we're feeling good. We're feeling good right now. So, Puffy, before we get into the rankings, I have a little game for us to play today.
Oh, perfect.
I was going to do a little bit of who is who is the Toronto Marlborough Hockey Club? Talk a little bit about the Toronto Marlborough Hockey Club, because it is an institution, right?
One of the glamour franchises for sure.
Yeah. So like, as we've been doing this pod and as I've becoming more and more understanding of youth hockey, it's pretty clear to me that the Toronto Marlboros are a pinnacle club. And so I was doing this, and as I was going through this, I found these, who played there and who's been drafted to the NHL, and I was going to quiz you on it. I'm going to give you some, I'll give them when they were drafted, where they went, and where they were overall drafted, what year, and you have to tell me who the player was. And they played on the Toronto Marlboros. Do you think you can do that?
Perfect. I think.
Okay, let's start with an easy one. Okay, we're going to start really easy off the gate here. And this one is drafted first in 2015 by the Edmonton Oilers.
That is Connor McDavid.
Okay. How about this one? Drafted 24th overall in the 2012 draft by the Boston Bruins. By the Boston Bruins. 2012.
What did you say, 12th overall?
No, 24th overall.
24th overall in the 2012 draft by the Boston Bruins.
He has a brother who also plays in the NHL, or did. How about they're from Sudbury?
Nick Ritchie?
Malcolm Subban.
Sudbury, I do not know. Oh, Felinos?
No, Malcolm Subban.
Oh, they're from Sudbury?
Well, I think they're maybe from here, but lived most of their youth in Sudbury, because I read the book. I read the dad's book.
The Subans?
Yeah, pretty sure.
I don't know if that's true. No. They grew up
you know
in
what?
Toronto.
Stop. I don't know. While we're doing this, maybe let us know if I'm right on that one.
So it's PK Subban's dad emigrated from Jamaica to Sudbury. So that's the connection.
There it is.
They got their start playing in Toronto, but
they lived up in Sudbury. Okay, I'm going to give you another one here. Okay.
Yeah.
How about this one? Drafted third, 2015 by the Arizona Coyotes.
Oh, Strome. Dylan Strome.
You got it. Yeah, Dylan Strome. Okay, here's the next one for you. Drafted second, 2001 by the Ottawa Senators.
Jason.
Yeah, these are too easy. Okay, I got to give you a hard one. Drafted 10th, 2014 Anaheim Ducks. You got that one, Puff? Because if you got this, you know you know this stuff well. Who is it? Drafted 10th, 2014 Anaheim.
Nick Ritchie.
Okay, so you're too good at this game. You nailed it.
Part of it is just I know who gets drafted where. But the Marlboros probably have the most high NHL draft picks in the last 15 years. I do think, though, like looking at the standings, they seem to be in a bit of a downturn right now. They're not as strong as they were, say, 5-10 years ago, but they're still obviously very strong. They have a great history.
Their history. Well, listen, Marlboros Hockey Club traces its roots back to the 1800s when local businessman John Earls founded the athletic club. It was named after the English noble family, the Dukes of Marlborough. The club adopted the family's name and crest, symbolizing qualities of leadership and courage. And initially, they participated in a variety of sports, including baseball, football, lacrosse, boxing. But then the club eventually honed in onto hockey. The club entered organized hockey in the late 1800s, winning its first championship in Toronto Lacrosse Hockey League in 1900. Olden days here. Yeah. Over the years, the Marlboros expanded the teams, competing in a variety of leagues, age groups, and winning many championships. And it integrated in the NHL. In 1927, the Marlboros became affiliated with the NHL's Toronto Maple Leafs, contributing to the strong farm system for developing players. Achieved significant success in junior hockey, winning a record 7 Memorial Cups between 1929 and 1989. And many Marlboros have gone on to play for the NHL, contributing to the success like the Maple Leafs, as we've talked about, and the players we just talked about. So, yeah, huge legacy there at the Toronto Marlboros. So that feels like a club to be on, part of history if you're on that team. So there you go. Speaking of
I'm pretty sure John Tavares has, I think he's put some money back into the organization.
Yeah,
so I think they might take a turn when his kids start popping through.
He was drafted first by the New York Islanders in what year? Do you know?
Tavares, 09.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're too good. You're too good. All right, speaking of too good, why don't you tell us what's going on with the good rankings here, Puff? Hand it over to you. Where's everyone sitting as we get into the crunch time?
So, yeah, we're definitely in the playoff push. It's crunch time now. So the rankings are going to have a bit of that flavor, letting people know not just where teams are ranked, but how they're close they are to clinching regular season championships throughout the G. U10. So let's start U10 AAA. Sees the G holding down the top 3 spots and 5 of the top 10. The top-ranked Toronto Marlboros clinched the GTHL regular season title. Can clinch the regular season title on Friday with a win or tie versus the second place and second-ranked Vaughan Kings at Canlan Etobicoke. U10 AA has G with 3 of the top 6 in Ontario, with the EastEnders leading G teams in second spot. The 6th-ranked Toronto Wolverines can clinch the West Division title with a win over Humber Valley Sharks Friday at Canlan Etobicoke as well. So that
big Friday
could be
night.
A spot for a lot of teams. Yeah, big Friday night at Canlan Etobicoke.
Friday night, Canlan Etobicoke.
U10 Single A continues to have no G teams in the top 10, with the Vaughan Rangers, who have clinched the West regular season title, leading the way in 32nd spot. 37th ranked Markham Islanders can clinch the East regular season title if they earn 5 of 6 points over their last 3 remaining regular season games.
U11
AAA has the top 3 and 4 of the top 5 from the G, with JRC leading the way in top spot of the rankings. However, it's the second-ranked Toronto Marlboros, so maybe I was mistaken. The Marlboros at the younger
these are the young.
are
This
dominating.
is U10. Yeah, the younger age they're coming up.
This is U10. This is U11 now.
Oh, U11. Yeah.
The second-ranked Toronto Marlboros are in the pole position to win the regular season title, needing to win their final 2 games to take the crown over JRC. So I ask you, G-Cat, would you rather finish first in Ontario or win the regular season GTHL championship?
Win first in Ontario. So you're like number 1 in Ontario, or you win the GTHL.
You're ranked first in Ontario, yeah.
I think the G championship, like my gut's telling me,
season.
Oh, not the whole way. Okay, well then the other one. I want to be first in Ontario. Like straight up. That seems like the one I would want. What would you want? I feel like I'm making the wrong answer.
No, it's tough because it's definitely more of a bragging rights thing for the kids to say they're on the top team in Ontario. But it's always weird if you say that and you didn't even win your league, which can happen.
Right.
So I don't know.
It's like becoming president without the popular vote.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. I think if it's for JRC in that situation, I mean, it's pretty cool to be the number 1 ranked AAA team in Ontario, but they're not even going to probably win their league title, which is probably surprising for the kids.
Yeah.
U11 AA continues with 3 teams in the top 10, with the Vaughan Panthers, the top G team, in 7th. Despite winning 22 straight league games, the Panthers do not control their own fate for the West regular season title. If the 8th-ranked Beast win their final 4 games, they will be the champs.
Nice.
U11 Single A with no teams in the top 10 from the G. Leaside Flames leading the way in 18th. Our friends, the Vaughan Rangers, 13th ranked, Coach Mike. 37th ranked. They need just 1 more point to clinch the West title. U12 AAA sees the G domination continuing with the top 4 and 7 of the top 9, with the North York Rangers in top spot. The Rangers clinched their 3rd straight regular season title Wednesday night with a win over the Reps. U12 AA has the top 2 and 3 of the top 4, all from the West, with the Faustina Toros in top spot. The Toros need 5 points in their remaining 3 games to win the West title. In the East, 13th ranked Ted Reeve Thunder needs 7 points in their final 5 games to clinch the regular season title. U12 Single A still looking for U12 Single A still looking at for a top 10 team, but the Vaughan Rangers are just outside in 16th spot. Great race in the East for the regular season title, with 4 teams separated by 3 points, with 4 to 5 games remaining to play for the Avenue Road Ducks, North York Knights, Ted Reeve Thunder, and Leaside Flames.
U13.
U13 AAA has the top 2 teams and 3 of the top 5 from the G. Top-ranked JRC needs 7 points in their final 6 games to clinch their second regular season title in 3 years. U13 AA has 2 of the top 10 from the G, with the EastEnders in top spot in 9th, 1 spot ahead of Forest Hill. The 14th ranked Duffield Devils had a huge 4-2 win over the 16th ranked Vaughan Rangers and can clinch the West regular season title by earning 4 points in their final 3 games. U13 Single A has no teams from the G in the top 10, with the Leaside Flames leading the way in 39th. 40th ranked West Hill needs just 1 point in their final game against Avenue Road to clinch the East title, which would be the first for West Hill in the 2011 age group.
U14
AAA is dominating the rankings with top 6 and 7 of the top 11 from the G. The Markham Majors can clinch the regular season title with a win or tie Friday night against JRC at the Pond. It will be Markham's second straight regular season title in the 2010 age group if they pull it off.
The U14 AAA, just in general, this is sort of the year I would feel like you really start to see a separation of players and those AAA teams are really coming together. Would that be a fair assessment around that age, that U14 age?
I would think that is the age that agents start coming around the teams, players start having representation, players start to position themselves into the best spot for them if they're looking to go to the OHL. You're in that final 3 years before the draft. So, yeah, I think there's a little bit of a switch from – and body checking starts. So that also changes the game for the kids for sure.
Yeah. It's got to be a lot of pressure.
The G2010 group is very strong for
it. Seems like it. Yeah. We should come back and make some predictions.
For sure.
Like,
yeah, no.
That would be an interesting age group to sort of hone in on and make some predictions, me and you. Well, you would make them, and I would just say, okay, let's follow. Yeah.
Okay, so U14 AA has a new number 1 with the Vaughan Rangers knocking Scarborough Young Bruins off their perch, with the Bruins falling to 3rd, 1 spot ahead of the Toronto Eagles. The Vaughan Rangers clinched the West Division title for the first time in the 2010 age group last Sunday with a win over the Eagles. And big congrats to that group. They have been a top team pretty much the whole way through, and that's the first time they've ever pulled off a thing. They've always sort of been beaten out at the very end in very close races in the West. So big congrats to that group for pulling it off finally. Well deserved. U14 Single A has the top 2 and 7 of the top 10 with from the G, with the Toronto Eagles leading the way. Huge game Wednesday night, Vaughan Rangers East versus Forest Hill. Just 3 points separate them for top spot in the East. U15 AAA has the top 4 and 5 of the top 9 with JRC leading the way. Just 2 points separate the top 3 teams in the standings. JRC had a huge 3-0 win over first place and 3rd ranked Toronto Titans to pull them within 2 points of top spot heading into the last 4 games of the season. U15 AA has a new number 1 with the Vaughan Panthers taking over top spot, with the Vaughan Rangers in 3rd and Ted Reeve Thunder in 5th. Ted Reeve have clinched the East regular season title for the first time at the 2009 age group.
Good for them.
U15 Single A sees the G dominating the rankings with the top 7 spots and 8 of the top 10. And we have a new team in the top 10. The Ted Reeve Thunder have cracked it finally. Congrats to Coach Rob and the rest of his staff.
Yeah.
Top-ranked Forest Hill needs 7 points in their last 6 games to win the East crown. But yeah, great job by your boys. They're finally 13-10. They flew up the rankings with that big tournament win.
That's a big jump. Well, the tournament, we played a team that was 12th, and that's who we beat twice, I think is how that worked, right? And then on top of it, we've had some other wins around it, which has helped us, I think, get to that 10th position.
And I know there's a lot of frustration with mostly parents, I'd say, probably coaches as well with the rankings. But for a system that ranks teams that they really don't see. By this point of the year, it does start. It is pretty accurate for what it is.
Yeah.
For ranking teams across North America.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah,
we had a goal this
but
year.
it shows your team has been playing good hockey.
Yeah.
Boom, top 10. They deserve to be there, and they've
gotten top 10. Yeah, and we hit it.
U16 AAA has 5 of the top 7 from the G, with the Vaughan Kings remaining in top spot. Vaughan Kings need 4 points in their last 3 games to take the coveted regular season AAA title. U16 AA has 2 G teams in the top 10, with the Mississauga Beast leading the way in 3rd. Huge game coming up for the Beast next Tuesday against the first place Vaughan Rangers. The 2 teams are tied, with the Rangers having 1 game in hand with just 6 games remaining. And finally, the U16 Single A has 6 of the top 7 teams from the G, with North Toronto leading in top spot. North Toronto need 8 points from their final 5 games to clinch the East title. 5th-ranked Vaughan Panthers need just 1 point in their final 3 games to take the West. And that is it for the rankings this week.
Everyone's excited for the playoffs. Everyone is jockeying for position, which is really, really, really good. So yeah, it's critical. When do the playoffs start? I guess they all start at different times for different divisions, right? So has any division started playoffs yet?
No, but no. There was one. I was going through things. There was 1 or 2, I think AAA, that are basically at the end of the regular season. So playoffs will probably start in the next couple weeks for sure. But it just sucks for those teams that at the older ages that don't make the playoffs. Their season's done. Yeah. There's some teams that will be done their season by the end of this week.
Yeah, that's what you said last time, and I know. But then I said the only glass half full on that is you can go away for March break. So
for sure, take a month.
Yeah, which in our position now that we've clinched, we want to go away for a night or 2, but we don't want to miss a playoff game. So that's the new challenge that we're facing.
You are definitely in that window of you can't go anywhere.
No, we may come to your house.
You can't. You've passed. You've passed it. You've passed the trips.
We're coming over to your house for dinner,
and hopefully for you guys, that's sometime. That's it. That's as far as you can go.
Okay. Well, listen. So great. Another great week, and we're in the end. This is an exciting time for hockey. So, given that, what do you think? You're on vacation. Do you have a vacation song this week? Did you think of one when you were down on the beach, drinking your beers and hanging out? Do you have one for the crew this week?
I was thinking about maybe a vacation song, but I have to say that the song that I hear all the time down here off both boys' phones is the song called "Greedy" by Tate McRae, and since All-Star Weekend, she has taken a prominent place in our household, and both boys feel she's a dime, is what I've been told.
Is she the Taylor Swift of the NHL?
That's pretty high praise. But she's definitely
a very popular singer. She's playing Budweiser stage this summer. She was prominent at the NHL All-Star Weekend.
She did great at the All-Star. She was very, very. She was great during the draft and the game, and she's definitely picked up some fans. I think in my household.
Calgary. Yeah, she's from Calgary. Come on.
Yeah, she's good.
Okay, Tate McRae. Mine was more of an album, actually. I've been listening to a lot lately, and it's a bit of a throwback, but a new album, which is the new Green Day album, which, out of nowhere, Green Day is back on the scene. They were just as hot as they are now as they were when I was grade 9 or 10. And you were in your 3rd year of your career or something like that. And
I was in university, prick.
And they got this new album out, and I've been listening to it tons. There's a song, Dilemma, that I really like. There's another song called The American Dream is Killing Me. It's a great album. You can it's one of those albums right now that I put on and I can listen to the whole thing. And so
really
playing that a lot lately over the last week or so. Yeah.
Has their sound changed, or is it still
No, it sounds like Green Day.
Sounds like the exact same.
It sounds like a whole lot more Green Day. Yeah, which to be honest, I needed. I missed Green Day. Yeah. And they're playing this summer, but tickets are really expensive, I think. So I don't know if I'm going to go. But that's my song of the week, or
we'll
I'm going to go with an album this week. Yeah. So with that, I think that's all we got for this week. Yeah, Puff, we've had a little bit of a delay, everybody. So if you've heard a gap in sound between Puffy and I, it's because his vacation internet is about 2 seconds behind everything. So we've done our best to keep that going. Yeah. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. Other than that, teams, coaches, parents, we all the best as we run into the playoffs here. We've got a couple of interviews lined up for next week, so we should have some more of those dropping coming up over the next couple of weeks. We had the rankings. We talked about the marbles. We said it all. So, Puff, with a little bit of a delay, is there anything left to say for this week's episode? Perfect. Okay, so that's a no because the delay is long. But regardless, please listen on Apple, on Spotify. Follow us on YouTube and Instagram. Stoff, thanks so much for doing this. Again, sorry for the delay. We look forward to having Puff back here with good internet. And thanks, everybody. Have a great week. All the best in the playoffs. Yeah, Puffy, those frogs are something, eh? That sound in the background. Oh, the frogs are here. The frogs joining us.